Warpaints are really cool. Well, at least I think so anyway, but there are some people out there in the community that don't actually like them as much. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about why people may or may not like Warpaints. Also, before we get into this video, I have made another channel because you guys seem to quite enjoy the short videos I posted on here recently, so now there's a whole channel basically dedicated to that. I'll be trying to post on there every single day. Maybe as I do more streams and we get more clips for it, I'll go up to twice a day. We don't know. But make sure you go and subscribe to that. The link to it will be in the description. And also, if you're new, subscribe to this channel. Anyway, let's get talking about the pros and the cons of Warpaints. The first point I think is basically vital that I make is that one of the pros of the Warpaints is the fact that the customization is nearly endless. There's been a lot of Warpaints added to the game, and there's a lot of variety in all of those Warpaints, so there's probably one that you enjoy the look of, which is quite nice. Comparing that to something like the Australians with a very little amount of weapons covered, there's a much better chance that the weapon you like has a skin that you would like for it as well. And they're probably a lot cheaper than some of the Australians, especially for like the scattergun, the rocket launcher, and even the Islander. You basically just have a much better chance of finding something you actually want to use, and that will go with like all of your loadouts and your personal style almost. The next pro of Warpaints is that you can actually get them in unusual. Now, you know, this will cost you a little bit, but I think it's definitely worth it because they look incredible. And you can't get unusual weapons on any other kind of quality of weapon. There's no unusual Australians, which actually I think would be quite cool. There's no unusual festives, unless you festivize one of your skins. And Warpaints are basically the only way that you can actually get an unusual weapon. So that's a really cool little thing if you can get the right combination of effect and the skin. And it could also be amazing when you put it with a loadout that actually matches that weapon and the unusual effect. I'm really jealous of all of the people who have those loadouts that work really well together. Maybe one day I'll get there. And like I mentioned a little bit before, you are able to use Warpaints on a bunch of different weapons. The fact that there's only a couple of weapons that don't have Warpaints means that no matter what you use, you're more than likely going to be able to find a Warpaint for it. And you will actually like at least one of the Warpaints that is for that weapon. And it'd be really nice to be able to get really cool skins that you like on all of your weapons that you use, rather than just having a nice select few, if that makes any sense. Like right now, I'm trying to get a whole bunch of really cool skins because I've bought Australians, and I can't have an Australian for every single weapon, as cool as that would be. Anyway, let's move over to some of the cons of owning Warpaints. The first thing is that most qualities or tiers below minimal wear or factory new just don't really look that great. Now, there might be a few exceptions where the scratches actually add to the design and the blood stains on it add to the design and things like that, and that's great. But the vast majority of the time, most of the Warpaints that you will own will not look good if it's less than minimal wear. And that's just the truth. In CS, it's actually more like you can get away with it all the way up until like well worn, where it starts looking really bad. But in TF2, everything is so obvious with the scratches and stuff. You can have some minimal wear items that don't look very good either. But anywhere from like field tested down, you're running around with a pretty scuffed up looking weapon, and that's not always the best thing to look at while you're trying to play. Now obviously that doesn't really matter all that much, you can just equip it and ignore it, but I like having nice looking things, you know? Like I said, sometimes you get away with it, sometimes it works with the design, but most of the time it doesn't, so you're kind of screwed over there. The next thing is that skins can also be fairly expensive. If you don't have a factory new or a minimal wear, the items sometimes look stupidly scuffed, like I said, but getting a factory new skin can be very, very expensive. So for a lot of people who want to find cheap versions of weapons, getting a factory new or higher tier skin is going to set you back a lot for even just like a couple of weapons, which really sucks. Obviously, you can compromise and get a cheaper skin. That works out perfectly fine, but it might not be the exact one you want. And that feeling kind of sucks sometimes, like settling for, you know, what is okay, rather than being able to afford what you really want. And trust me, I'm there. There's so many skins I want to get that I just can't bring myself to pay for, that I can't afford, or that I don't want to afford. And yeah, that feeling just isn't amazing. And sometimes just getting a regular strange weapon just costs way less and is way nicer, and it just saves you all that hassle, is what I tell myself. Speaking of strangers, the third point on the cons list that I've got is it's hard to always get strange skins. Most of them need to be unboxed, and like I said before, if you want to get a factory new one of a higher tier skin and strange, you're going to be spending a stupid amount of money on that skin. I'm someone who loves to have the strange quality on my weapons, because otherwise I feel like I'm wasting kills every time I get one with it. So I want to always have strange on my stuff. So getting nice skins sometimes is really difficult because they're really, really expensive. I mean, if more people bought my stickers, then maybe, you know, I could get a few more skins, but you know. But a lot of the time, getting really nice skins that you actually want, especially if you want to get an unusual one as well, with strange, with factory new, and in a decent quality. For your sake, I hope that your pockets are very, very deep. Anyway, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about Warpaints down below in the comments. I would love to hear it and start some conversations. And also make sure you leave this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to this channel and the new Spikey Mikey Shorts channel if you want to see content from me on this channel and on that one. That made sense. Once again, a massive thank you to you guys for watching this video to this point if you did, and I will see you all tomorrow with another one. Goodbye.